Please do not suggest the fusion combinations in the comments. There is a poll in the description if you want to vote on the next one. I've basically decided I'm going to start all of these in an accent at this point. I don't even know what accent that was. It like started off as being like German or Russian or something, and then it evolved into robotic French or I don't even know. Anyway, so yeah, welcome back to Fuseday Tuesday, everybody. It's a party. And also, I do want to say, please stay tuned to the end of this video if you like this series, because there's going to be kind of some more important, serious kind of announcement-y stuff at the very end. So please stick around for that if you like this series, because it's important stuff involving the series. But in the meantime, let's talk about a fusion, shall we? I'm going to push my mic a little bit back because it looks like I'm being a little bit too loud. Anyway, so, this week we got Amethyst and Jasper. Yay! The Quartz sisters. Hooray. I wasn't too shocked. I actually was rather expectant of these two to get fused together. Either them or possibly Steven, I thought. But yeah, so this is Jasper's second fusion. Yay! If you don't remember, last week was the first week Jasper actually got to be in a Fuseday Tuesday. So that was very exciting, and she got to fuse with Garnet. And now she gets to fuse with Amethyst, so that's fun. So I'm going to talk a little bit about just the things, because there's some things that you might notice that I did differently in this one than what I usually do. And for one thing, I didn't actually properly do line work for this picture. I actually just kind of cleaned up my sketch and I put color in that way, which I don't do for this series ever, but I actually do it quite a lot in just drawing in general, especially in character design kind of things. But for this one, I decided I kind of liked just how it looked, and I didn't want to bother lining because lining is not my favorite thing in art, so I thought I could get away with just refining the sketch and going from there, which I think it turned out alright. And I honestly think it fits this fusion to have a bit of a messier looking kind of line work, if you know what I mean. And I also didn't color the lines at the very end, if you did notice, which is also something I don't do, and I blame that on I just didn't want to. Part of it was time stuff, but also it's just because I kind of just didn't want to color the lines. And again, I thought the more darker, bolder look kind of fit this fusion. I don't know if this is going to become my criteria for fusions from now on. I doubt it, or it might depend. I don't know. I mean, hey, you guys can tell me what you think. Do you prefer, like, what I did here, or do you prefer the old things? Like, be totally honest. Either one's fine with me. So, yeah, leave that in the comments. I also, for this one, before anyone points out the anatomy and how it looks like her arms are comically huge, that was intentional. I wanted to do a bit more of a dynamic pose for this because I felt like the design wasn't really anything super fancy to look at, and I also don't feel like I went super over the top with like the limbs and things like that for this fusion. So I decided to play around with giving her more a more dynamic pose for her fusion, which includes a lot of fists. But yeah, so like you notice, I actually was thinking, because Jasper is huge, like in comparison, because I mean, actually in canon, I believe Pearl is around 6 feet tall. So like looking at Jasper in comparison to just Pearl alone, who is 6 feet tall, Jasper is enormous, man. So I thought that then, like, Amethyst, on the other hand, is about Steven's height, so she's probably around somewhere like 4 feet. So I thought something that could be kind of entertaining, if not maybe a bit goofy, but you know what, it's got Amethyst in this fusion, so hey, could work, was if she had sort of a smaller lower half, but her upper half was like big, buff, large arms, to where it could even almost be considered comedic, which I actually did think kind of fit this fusion in a sense, but I also just thought it kind of fit, like, anatomically speaking. I mean, in Steven Universe itself, it's not like the gems in general are super anatomically correct in most criterias. I mean, a lot of like, I mean, just look at Pearl alone. She's got like, in like regards to proper human anatomy, her arms are rather long. So, you know, I do like to consider that I could have a little bit more fun with the anatomy, and it was fun. So yeah, I'm not entirely sure how I feel about the colors. I thought that they turned out okay. They're definitely not my favorite, but I did have some fun. It did feel rather legit in a sense, just like in regards to how I think that they would actually be colored in the show and things like that. But they were kind of relaxing to do, but I do feel like they could have done a little bit better, especially with just some particular things. But I think this one I was kind of just in general, I think this one was just kind of a lot of experimental stuff in general, not just with like line art and stuff like that, but you know, just a lot of Zodiac being experimental as he does, but you know. So yeah, and then as for the Fusion's personality, I've seen quite a few different like takes on this kind of thing before, and I thought of something that was kind of a balance between unstable but also not like not really like unstable in the sense that she'd be a reckless ass fusion, but still kind of like a pretty happy kind of fusion emotionally. And that came from the fact that I thought like, okay, Jasper is strong and Amethyst is fun loving, so I thought that like, and part of it went off of like, if I ever thought like if Jasper was to get a redemption arc of some kind, I would imagine that she would get along best with either Steven or Amethyst. So I imagine that maybe a fusion between Jasper and Amethyst would equate to something that was like rather fun but also reckless and doesn't really know their own strength kind of thing. And I thought like just between the dynamic between just Amethyst and Jasper, where Amethyst brings some fun into Jasper, and then Jasper is strong, and that gives Amethyst a lot of confidence and things like that. So that's kind of what I went for here. As for the actual gem I picked itself, Crazy Lace Agate. A lot of fusions I see for Amethyst and Jasper are typically ametrines, I've noticed, which if any of you know me, I personally don't like it, but it's not that I have anything against the people who do it, but I personally can't see ametrine not being a fusion gem for a citrine and an amethyst, because ametrines were literally named because they looked like an amethyst and a citrine fused together. So to me, I just couldn't do that kind of thing. I just didn't agree with it. And again, no hate to people who actually do it, because they're obviously they're allowed to have their own headcanons. Everything is fair in the term of what is and isn't canon. But for me, I wanted to find something else, and when I looked around, Crazy Lace Agate just felt like the perfect kind of gem to me. For one thing, the coloration, it comes in many different colors, and some of the most common colors I saw were like browns and whites and pinks and oranges, as I used for this one, which to me, purple and orange and red, it just kind of felt like it worked to me, especially in the sense that like Smoky Quartz was pink and purple and they made brown. So to me, it felt like it worked with coloration, especially with the stripes and things like that. And also just beyond just the fact that the name works for this fusion. I mean, just like look at the name and look at the fusion. I mean, it works to me. But not only that, but also just what it actually represents as well. And again, I'm reading off a website, by the way, because that's what I do. So yeah, not my own words, but Crazy Lace Agate is called the Laughter Stone, or Happy Lace. It is associated with sunny Mexican fiestas and dancing and brings joy to those who wear it. It is not a stone of protection, but of support and encouragement, alleviating thoughts and promoting optimism. Its graceful design and random lacy patterns creates a circular flow of energy, stimulating the mind and attitude. And I don't know about you, but that felt rather fitting to me. It also promotes inner stability, composure, and maturity. Its warm, protective properties encourage security and self-confidence, which to me felt very fitting for Amethyst and Jasper, because like I said earlier, Amethyst to me would bring the fun, Jasper would bring the confidence. And to me, if we were going off of like a Jasper redemption arc kind of thing, which I know a lot of people actually go off of, but I want to imagine it myself, I would imagine that'd be kind of something that would happen. Amethyst would bring laughter and show Jasper that, hey, fusing's fun, and it doesn't have to be what Malachite was, you know? And then Jasper can bring the confidence and things like that. It could be a whole self-discovery thing. Yay. Story building. Yay. But yeah, so to me, I felt like Crazy Lisa Gate was a rather fitting gem for the two of them. And so with that out of the way, I think I've talked all about I want with this particular fusion, and now it's time to get a little bit more serious. Oh boy. So how do I even start this? Okay, so it sucks to kind of say this, but I wanted to let you guys know about how I've been feeling with like Fuseday Tuesday and Corrupt Day Monday, because there is a chance I might take a break from doing both series for a little while. And it's a mixture of like school starting back up again, but also because I felt like it started to feel a little bit like a chore to do these. And I always told myself that if either of these series, if the corruptions or the fusions started feeling like chores, or if I had to do them, that I would take a break and I would step back. And that doesn't mean that I'm going to just end this series forever. Trust me, I would make a proper announcement if that was going to happen. And most likely, this is still going to be something I want to do, especially whenever like Steven Universe comes back. It'll probably be something I'll be ready to get into right off the bat. But it started slowly over the past couple of episodes, whatever I call them. But it started to feel a little bit more and more like a chore. And I don't want it to be that way. I want these series to be fun for me and fun for you guys. And I feel like my lack of desire to do them affects how the designs come out, and they make the designs a lot more lackluster, and I don't want that to happen. I always I mean, this YouTube has been purely for fun. It's purely a hobby. There's no requirement for me to do anything. So to me, I've always been like complacent with like, if I don't have fun doing something, I'm not going to do it. And so that's kind of what I'm feeling here. And it would only be a break, and I doubt it would be forever. And I've had a history of I swing in and out of moods. In fact, the fact that I've been able to actually keep up with this series, both of them, for so long is very impressive considering my history with this kind of thing. So chances are it's probably just something I'm probably just falling out with it, and I'll come back and I'll pick it up again later, or maybe not, you never know. But I'm giving myself the next corruption and then possibly the next fusion if the next corruption's fine, and then see how I am, because I could get back in the mood of it. I don't know. But I do want to let you guys know that if there's a week where whatever it is, where a fusion and or corruption don't show up, you know why. It's because I just feel like I need a break. And I know this because this happens all the time. I know there's going to be people who are going to recite what I just said and say, like, don't stress yourself out, Zodiac, like, do what makes you happy. And I do appreciate it. Don't get me wrong. Like, don't misinterpret what I'm saying. But I do appreciate it. But just, you don't need to tell me that. I'm just letting you know. As much as I do appreciate it, I am aware of this. That's why I'm even, like, discussing it, and I'm mentioning this. This isn't even, like, a question of, like, should I stop or shouldn't I? It is that if the next corruption or fusion feels boring and feels like a chore to me, then I will not be doing it. So it's more of a statement like that. But yeah, it's probably not going to be indefinite. So I'm sorry if anybody, like, is upset about that, but I might need a break for a little bit. So, you know, I mean, my channel, whatever. So yeah, I just want to let you guys know, because I feel like you guys deserve to know. I don't want to just, like, stop doing it and take a break and then everyone be confused, and then stuff like, and not know if it's like over forever or if it's just I'm taking a break or if I'm got busy or whatever. So I just want to keep you guys updated for those of you who like this series and things like that. So yeah, just little heads up in case that if like next week there's no corruption and if the week after that if there's no fusion, you know why. It's just because I felt like I needed a break, and like these are becoming a chore because I don't want these to become a chore. I want this to be fun for everyone, including myself. So yeah, just a little thing to end that off there. I will probably hopefully be putting lots of glorious fan art because I really need to catch up with putting that in videos and things like that. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this though, nonetheless, besides the little serious message at the very end. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this. Tell me how you like the fusion. Tell me if you like the style in which I've done this one, if you like the more sketchy look to it, and if you like the not so selectively colored lines. I don't know what to call them. And go vote for who you want to see fused with Amethyst if I do Fuseday Tuesday in 2 weeks. Or just whenever I pick it up, back up again, whenever that may be. But yeah, so I hope you enjoyed this, and I will see you in the next video, whatever it may be. Zodiac out.